Get comfortable and close your eyes with me. Sometimes it can be helpful to utilize the breath to connect with that deeper part of ourself in ways that we already intuitively know how to do. Sometimes things like tensing the muscles in the body and relaxing them. Tensing the muscles in the body and relaxing them can be helpful in relaxing the tension in the muscles. And the subsequent tension in the mental, emotional, and energetic fields. But at the end of the day, in the ultimate analysis, none of these things none of these things are none of these things make that much of a difference. Because they're like trying to calm muddy waters by stomping around. Or it'd be like the analogy of someone in a dream tensing the muscles and relaxing them, or doing breathing techniques in order to connect with who they truly are, which is you in the waking state. All the tensing and relaxing and breathing techniques aren't going to do much of anything for the character in the dream to wake up to who they truly are. Just as in our life right now. All of the tensing and relaxing of the muscles and breathing techniques aren't going to do much to wake us up to who we truly are. Because who we are at the deepest level just observes, or is aware of, or notices our human doing these practices. This is where it's helpful to keep in mind that true meditation isn't an effort to calm the thoughts or the emotions. These are the byproducts of meditation. True meditation is simply noticing the thoughts or the emotions, however they may be, in this moment. Rather than popping into our mind and mentalizing practices and techniques that might change the way we feel or are thinking, that might get us to a better place later on down the line. Meanwhile, sort of holding ourselves hostage, not feeling that we are in an okay place until we get to that point in the future. But all of this is just a mentalization. It's just an imagining. What if we come to our thoughts and emotions without expectation, without prejudices, without an agenda, and meet them as they are? Just noticing what is already there, what is already happening. Knowing that our real self is already safe, is already calm, is already complete. Our being as pure awareness is already what we seek. And it is always that. Our human, on the other hand, might not be where they, referring to the human, wants to be. And so they set up within themselves a tension, a conflict. And they create a practice or a plan that will get them to where they want to go, to how they want to feel, to the way they want to think. Meanwhile, until they get to that point in the future, days, weeks, months, years down the road, they hold themselves hostage, always in a sort of inner conflict with the way thoughts currently are, with the way feelings currently are, with the way situations currently are. And although it is obviously important to create practices and plans that will shape our life in the ways we want, and to take action on those plans, it is also equally as important to know how to find what you seek right here, right now, despite conditions, despite our thoughts, feelings, or situations we find ourselves in. This is balance. Knowing both sides of life. The taking action to create what we want side of life, and the recognizing we already have what we want side of life. Both of these are opposites, yet equally true. This provides the room for other than just you're human. This provides an allowance of push and pull. The kind of push and pull required for more things than just yourself, you're human, to be accounted for. This is balance. Although this does set up a challenge at first, because it requires us to reconsider the way we saw things previously, what we might want, the way we want it, causes us to reconsider someone else's perspective, other needs within the whole that we weren't privy to. So this ability to both take action in our lives to create what we want, and also to know that what we want is already here. Is the secret recipe to balance. Not only balance within our system as an individual, but also balance within two or more individuals, within a group, a family, or whatever. Because if we secretly know that what we want is already here, and that we'll be okay, even if what is here lasts forever, if we feel that in our hearts, if we can see that we are already that which we seek, then we give, first of all, we have the balance within ourselves, but secondly, we give others in our life that freedom to also reconsider. Whereas if we don't know that we are already that which we seek, then our tendency will be to impose our perspective or our wants or our agenda on someone or something else, in which sets up a conflict that makes it much harder for that other person to open up or reconsider other possibilities. But again, if we know that we are already that which we seek, then that balance within our system is expressed outwardly in ways that sets others up for success. Meaning we won't impose our agendas and our ideas upon others quite as rigidly. Because there's not a need for them to do something different or think differently or be feeling differently. We don't have a need for the external environment to be something for us, because we are already that. So the way we express will set people up for success, to reconsider and not hold their ideas so aggressively. Just because of what we're doing inside. Because we know we'll be okay, even if this, whatever this is, lasts forever. Because truly, I am that. And interestingly, this balance within our own system that reflects outwardly creating other balance for others, setting them up for success, increases the likelihood that we'll even get what we want. But that's not why we do it. We do it because it's its own reward. Knowing we are that. We are that which, I'll word it, you are that which you seek. That peace, that love, etc. Remember, true meditation is not trying to create a still mind, calm emotions, or any state whatsoever. True meditation is just going to the truth of who you are. That which notices or is aware of thoughts and feelings as they are. And from that vantage point, knowing where peace truly lies. Which is simply in going home, back to yourself, back to that which is aware or notices. Just being. From the light of being, the problems of our life start to look less tantalizing, less like a problem. Of course, it's a problem at the relative level, relative to thought and humanhood, and it's important to address the problems in our life. To create a practice or a plan in order to shift and shape things to where we would like them to be in the future. However, Again, we don't want to hold ourselves hostage until we get to that point, if and when we do even get to that point. So rather than holding ourselves hostage, we just learn where that which we seek already lies. It is already here. You, as yourself. Simply being in this moment. This is balance. Balance is also something other than just within ourselves. It's also within our environment, which we've discussed already. But we'll say it again because it's so interesting. Balance is holding the knowing of who you are as that which you seek. Holding the knowing that you already have it. You already have that which you seek. You are that peace. You are that love. You are being itself. And then while interacting with others, knowing that they are that also, even though they're not acting like it. They also are that which they seek. They are that love. They are what they yearn for. But they've forgotten. That is true balance. Holding that knowing in our conversations with others. Holding that knowing for them. You don't necessarily say it. In most cases, that wouldn't be well received. But you hold the knowing in your heart that they are that which they yearn for. They already are. This is true balance. How many times have we seen and heard someone speaking and acting as if something was truly in jeopardy. How many times have we spoken act as if something was truly in jeopardy? That in many instances wasn't. We're not talking about instances where our physical welfare may have been in jeopardy. Those are legitimate and need to be acted upon as such. But we're talking about times where something seemed to be in jeopardy. That if it was known in the moment that we or the other person already have all that they seek, then there would be no need to be speaking and acting as if something precious was indeed in jeopardy. Is it not love, peace, happiness, some version of this that everyone seeks, and yet sometimes speak and act as if that was in jeopardy? And where is the source of that really? It is ourself. It is our being. It is who we were prior to this lifetime, and it's who we'll still continue to be after. But the moment that we're born, there's this forgetting and a unmistakable divide between ourself as pure being, which is everything that we seek, and the world. And what appears like, moving forward, that these things could be taken from us. That love could be taken from us. That happiness could be taken from us. That peace could be taken from us. The conditions of life are set up as such to legitimately look like that and feel like that. And it does look like that. And it does feel like that. We're not undermining the fact of that. We're just highlighting how interesting it is that when we're born, we forget who and what we were prior, and that there's this unmistakable, undeniable divide that gets set up between who we are as pure being, that is all the love and all the peace and all the happiness we could ever want, and what we have access to witnessing on the other side of the divide is how all those things get taken from us. Situations in which clearly look and feel like our peace, love, or happiness is being taken from us. It literally looks like that. There is no question. It literally feels like that. There is no question. Meanwhile, just on the other side of the divide, within you, your being quietly awaits, knowing you can come back to it at any time. You can come back to yourself, become replenished. Remember love, peace, and happiness, and why you're really here. Why you're playing the game of apparent win-loss. On one side of the divide. And on the other side of the divide, the remembrance of only win. The remembrance that the game is not who you are. What you long for, you already have. So, while you may know this, and you may have this inner balance to whatever degree, it's critical to hold that knowing for others when you interact with them. Know that even though they're speaking and acting as if something could really be in jeopardy, hold that knowing for them. That at the deepest level, they already have that which they seek. They already have what they want. That their being is so great, is so pure, is so loving. And the more you know that about yourself, the more you know it's true for others. Your being is what you seek. It is so loving. It is so peaceful. It is that which you truly seek. And that the world is a game of appearances. Things appear to be taken from you. It really does give that legitimate experience of being taken from. The world gives that experience of being hurt, something possibly being in jeopardy. This is why it's so important to know both sides. The side of the divine, of the world, where we have practices and create plans for how we would like it to be. But then on the inside of the divide, we know that even though we're playing the game to some degree on the outside, what's really important to hold the knowing that we already have that which we seek. And this is true balance. Holding the knowing and extending love and compassion to those who forget who they really are. Now take a moment to ask yourself a final contemplative question. What do I really need to know? And you may have already witnessed this, but we're just offering a time and space to make it more conscious, to make some aspect of your subconscious meditation more conscious, so it can be more easily utilized in waking life. What do I most need? When you feel you're sufficiently concluded, and only if you feel you're sufficiently concluded, at that point, feel free to bring your attention back to this moment. Not that you ever truly left it, each other, in the conversation. And when you're ready, feel free to take in a deep breath and open your